It's hard for me to say if Run for Roses gets the flowers it is due, yes, a pun. I think a lot of people who do know this song love it so much and hold it very close to their chests. That is its reputation, but there are still many people who don't even know this song. Maybe Oh turned them off from this group for good, or we still have yet to talk about it as much as it truly deserves. I've never really seen anyone do a proper analysis of it, or if I did, I forgot. I have the memory of a rock. But we're going to talk about it in depth today. We're going to figure out who it is that runs for roses and if we should emulate this behavior. I hope you are as excited as I am. The song begins with two instances of we are, sort of their way of defining existence. They prioritize what we are, not what we aren't, but what we aren't is also given some extra weight, granted being part of this explanation and skipping out on a contraction. They also describe themselves as being hand to hand, which I find particularly interesting. It's sort of like heart to heart, and it's portrayed kind of like a similar means of communication, though you have to ask the purpose of the difference and what it says about the nature of the communication. But saying to instead of in, like with hand in hand, also conveys that some sort of combat is going on. And in stating to run for roses, it could be this meta moment, or it could be something akin to advice or perhaps a command. They could be fully aware of themselves in the moment and in the song, or they could have strong values about their value, the stuff of their life. It could be important to state that title within the piece. In the first verse, they kind of shoehorn in this notion to challenge the impossible without a grammatical subject, indicating a potential challenge to the narrative subject where they might seemingly be on uneven footing, but they will fight to matter. They integrate grammatically complex sentences, portraying literal and figurative dependence on defining the qualities at hand, like dissatisfaction or uncertainty. Then they use independent clauses to convey the connection in real time, and the repetition of back is very interesting as well, as they seemingly take things into their own hands, going from hand to back to back and not heart to heart. They stuffed two separate notions in a line as if in the same sentence, the line speaking to there being no limitation as they break the established pattern in the beginning of the verse. They use internal rhyme and even rhyme shadow vowels as if to utilize precarious feminine rhyme. They also add on discussion of synergy, not a full clause, but depending on more solid foundations. And they do not conjugate the reference to keeping dreaming, only to become more active in phrasing, but with things apparently at stake. As a result, they make a quick decision, again speaking to the meta aspect of the song. Utilize ascendant at first in the pre-chorus, but they do integrate a conjunction toward the middle, giving it weight and portraying capability in syntactic form. They also have one clause per line, fast, the repetition of we, cementing a sense of togetherness. There is sameness with people contributing the same. When talking about the heart, the talk becomes onomatopoeic with what I call commentary without explicit commentary. It's almost a question of if we can truly speak of the heart in actual words, or if the heart in essence is much too abstract for human language. What they want is to run action in the dramatic sense with motivations to push the plot and all relationships forward. In the second verse, they say they are surrounded by thorns, which are their finish line, meaning they are surrounded by their finish line, but they still go. This is no longer about the victory of getting roses, and it is definitely about more than the victory that those come with, making you have to question if the roses really are metonymic in the first place. You also have to decide who decides on the finish line in this race, or on another level in life, and with what sort of intentions. This also plays with psychic distance, the onomatopoeic sounds of life mixed with commands. It's also interesting that they decide to put aside giving up, as earlier in the verse they say speed up and voice up. So it is like they have decided to stay true to the nature of the original narrative at play. In this way, things are unchanged, even when it results in them getting hurt. They also stuff this notion in an existing line rather than giving it its own aside, like with previous sentiments. So you get the feeling that this is a matter of explicit processing and they are maintaining their options as well. The bridge portrays a sense of togetherness with the inclusion of action and context. They also have a grammatically complex sentence without an actual grammatical subject, but the song itself demands even greater complexity. There's distance put between the clauses of more complex sentences, creating a sense of tension. Speaker is demanded by the sound and lack thereof, and life's tune and roses. The song speaks to the part of me that aches, the part of me that wants to look to the future, but doesn't have the proper words to barter with my own mind. My mind focuses on what I once had that I don't have anymore, when, by all measures, I'm allowed to look to the future. It took a lot to get here, so of course I should be running for roses. It stings to think about what is lost, but I have so much time to heal, and if only to silence the loud thoughts in my head, I will accomplish so much with that time.